You get stale.
Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me as always is my co-host, Christopher. Chris, it's good to see you.
Steven, it's great to see you. How are you doing, bud?
Pretty good. I bet you just are constipated with movie news and updates, aren't you?
Yep, I got an enema in as we speak, trying to flush it out here.
Very good.
Let me start off with some somber news.
Okay.
You remember that film we watched last week, Steve?
Yes, Furiosa.
Furiosa.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if you heard, it didn't do great in the old box office.
Yes. Yeah, I heard it had a rough go of it over the weekend.
Yes, it made 71 mil.
That's pocket change.
A budget of 168 mil.
Do you think it'll make its money back?
No,
Ouch.
I don't. And it's actually the worst Memorial Day gross since, you got to go back 30 years to 1995.
Eek.
Casper.
Yeah, gross.
Not great, Bill. Not great, Bob, Bill, or Susan, whoever you ask. It's not great.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it fell off so much? Or just didn't do well enough?
I don't know. We talked earlier, Mad Max lost money as well, and I was hoping people would, everyone liked Fury Road, and hopefully, they're like, well, this one's exciting, but it is a prequel. I think everyone's kind of, why go to the movies if it's going to come out in 2 weeks,
Yeah, they're going to give them the Fall Guy treatment.
Yeah.
It's rough, because it was a good movie. I liked it. Too bad.
Going off of that, Planet of the Apes, another movie we reviewed.
Is that coming to streaming?
Probably so, but that one's made 300 mil.
Well, that's respectable.
Budget of 160, so I'm guessing it's still probably net negative. So, it's almost there. But even that 300 mil, what happened? Because last year I thought the movies were back. You got Barbie, $1 billion movie. Oppenheimer probably made a good chunk of change.
Yeah,
I think the year before that, Avatar probably made $1.5 billion, and then it just whatever this year. Just dying off. Kind of sad.
I don't know. I think people are tired of going to movies. They are expensive, and if you're going for just like mediocre movies, not that Furiosa was mediocre, there's just slim pickings nowadays, I guess. What can you do?
I agree with you. Like I said last week, I went and I splurged. I got that Regal Unlimited, because you're talking Movie Pass. I gotta get the movies in my veins, and I saw Furiosa, and I pull up the app. Or you know what? Maybe I'll watch a flick this weekend, and I'm like, don't want to watch this. Okay, some whatever Christian something. All right, there's like a horror film, but it's got like a 16% on Rotten Tomato. I'm like, all right, I don't even want to drive 15 minutes to see this for free. And you know me, I like to get a good deal here. So so kind of disappointed. Maybe you'll like this. So Antonthy Star, Homelander, the actor, he was asked if he was interested in playing other superhero characters like Booster Gold, whoever that is. And his quote, "If there ain't milk, I ain't doing it, honey."
Makes sense, I guess. No, I think he played Homelander so iconically you can't see him as anything else.
I think the only other thing I've seen him in, like acting-wise, is like a random episode of that Auntie Donna show. Do you ever watch that?
Big Playhouse of Fun or something like that. Yeah.
This is pretty exciting to me. A young Sherlock series is moving forward on Prime Video with Guy Ritchie set to direct.
Who would be a good young Sherlock, Chris? Is it Glenn Powell?
It's Hero Fiends Tiffin is set to star as a 19-year-old. Now
that was just a mess of syllables you put together.
Yeah, sounds like some French bloke, but yeah, I see a picture of him. Ain't never recognized him.
Does he have gaunt, hollow cheekbones?
He looks like he'd be in a Harry Potter movie, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
I was a fan of those Sherlocks. That's something I'll Google every few months. Sherlock Holmes 3. When's that? I want to see that because I like the first two.
You're one of the four people clamoring for that sequel, huh?
I want to see that. I'm always Googling iRobot 2, wishing for that since back in 2004. World War Z 2. Give me that. I Am Legend 2. I finally am getting that.
Oh, yeah, you're getting that.
National Treasure 3. Those are my go-tos.
If you could pick one of those to come into fruition.
Probably National Treasure 3, not
there it
gonna
is.
lie.
I knew it.
But speaking of National Treasure 3, I was doing some sleuthing, believe it or not. John Turbout says National Treasure 3 is now being written. Nicolas Cage will 100% return if the film gets made.
Well, which one is it, Chris? Because not a month ago you said Nick Cage said it's never going to happen.
Well, this is the newest.
Are you writing this article?
Who cares if I'm writing it? Yeah. It's called The Secret. You got to will it into fruition or whatever they call that. So, yeah, well, what is that BS? Talk it into
manifestation.
Manifest. I'm manifesting.
You put it on your vision board for 2024. Yeah. Fair enough.
I like how they say Nicolas Cage will 100% return if the film gets made. Well, I think we all know he's not going to turn down a role. Any role.
Yeah.
It could be like Auschwitz Treasure, and he'd be like, sign me up. I'll be Hitler if you want. He's not going to say no to anything.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that film Boy Kills World?
The Skarsgård.
Yeah. So that movie, it just doing terrible.
Yeah.
I think critic-wise it's not bad, but it's out on digital. Budget was 18 mil. It's made 3 mil, which technically that's probably like a negative 45 mil. Assuming it's like you double the budget or whatever. So like not as bad as others, but if you go percentage-wise, that's up there with the worst of the worst. Like not a great race.
Horrible race.
But I want to see the film. I hear it's actually not bad. Moana 2.
Oh, here we go. I think I know what this one is.
What do you think it is?
Was it the most watched trailer in Disney history?
Yeah. How'd you know?
Oh, I don't know. I think I saw it on my feed. I wonder how they inflate those numbers organically. Just have Chinese bots watching them over again.
I don't understand because I went on YouTube and it had like 6 million. But on this thing I'm seeing, it's like has with over 178 million views in 24 hours.
Yeah. Wait, was it just a teaser trailer or was it like a full-blown...
These teasers. It says teaser trailer, but it's 2 minutes long. So I'm like, what is it?
Back in my day, teaser trailer meant like 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
teaser. I hardly know her.
Yeah, there you go.
But, yeah, it's not a tease. This is a full-on course meal.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård
will
officially return as Pennywise in the It prequel series. Welcome to Derry, releasing on Max 2025.
Follow-up question, why?
Don't know.
I thought they already told that story.
It's a prequel. Did you not hear that?
Yeah, but why? He's just going to be terrorizing kids in a different way?
I guess.
I wonder what's going to happen to him at the end. Oh, wait. I already know. Gosh dang it. Well, we talked about prequels, man.
I know. No one likes the prequels, man. Maybe I'll watch, maybe I won't.
Get me drunk enough.
Yeah. Oh, here's another prequel. A 300 prequel series is in the works at WB with Zac Snyder set to direct.
Stop. Is this a prank? Chris, we're well into May. It's well past April now. Come on.
I guess I better see that film,
Oh, jeez.
Are you going to watch that?
I mean, I got to, just so I can crap on it.
Well, I'm sure we'll do a pod, and oh, wow, beautiful slow motion there, Zach. Where'd you ever come up with that? Oh, wow, was that a triple take there? Oh, perfect. That's what we love about you, Zach. Knives Out 3.
Ooh, yes.
Here's our confirmed cast so far. Mm-hmm. Daniel Craig, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Mila Kunis, Andrew Scott, Glenn Close, Kaylee Spaney, Josh O'Connor. Okay. I'll admit, I only know 4 of those, I think. I think I know who Kerry Washington.
Yeah. Yeah, so I saw this this announcement and I was super excited because Knives Out is called, what is it called? Wake Up Dead Man.
Wake Up Dead Man.
Cool. I'm down for it. Here's my qualm. The first Knives Out, star-studded. You got every one of them. You're like, everyone knows who all these people are, right? Second one, you're like, okay, I know maybe half of them. I'd still consider the second one star-studded. This one, not as much, I would say.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we all know Jeremy Renner's going to be the villain.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah.
It's always a known actor, and he's definitely the most famous.
Yeah, I'd say there's like maybe 2 or 3 household names in here. But here's my thing, Chris. I think a few months ago we ran into an impasse because we're like, what do you call a movie that it's not star-studded?
Oh.
And so I was thinking about this movie in particular, where you think they're stars but they're not. And so I came up with a term, and I think I found a term. You want to hear it?
Sure.
It's satellite-studded.
Satellite.
Because when you look up at the night sky, you look and you think, is that a star?
Is that a shooting star?
No,
and you're like,
it's just a satellite.
Just another satellite.
Just like these folks here, you're like, is she from? No, it's not. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you get a random constellation, a Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of satellites here.
There you go. What do you think of that?
That's pretty good. I like that. SS. Giancarlo Esposito
Oh, you're so close.
will officially play a villain in Captain America Brave New World.
Okay.
I just remember before he was like, you're never going to guess who I'm going to be.
And all of us were like, is it at least a villain? And he
Yeah,
was like,
that was my guess. I was like, well, I know it's a villain.
yeah.
Do we know Captain America villains? Is he going to be Red Skull here? That's the only one I ever know.
He needs to step away from that villain role, That's like literally all he plays. Not that it's bad. I'm just like,
Typecasted.
yeah.
I mean, he's a great villain.
Great Vil.
But yeah, that's all I got. Steve, you got any announcements?
I don't know, but what I do have is a question for you, and that question is, what you been watching?
Well, what I've been watching, I've seen a film called A Simple Favor.
Oh, I actually saw that a couple weeks ago, and I forgot about it until you just said that. Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively.
Yeah, thriller. It's like a 3. It was like kind of interesting, but also I would never really recommend it.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 3. I've seen worse. I've seen better. What would you give that, Steve?
It really falls apart towards the end there. Not only in terms of story, but it's like the mood shifts. Because like the first, I'd say third is like dead serious, like kind of crime, drama, thriller, mystery. And then at the end, they're like kind of cracking jokes and everything. And I was like, let's just be consistent with the tone here, fellas. But it was fine. Never would watch it again. My wife picked it, and so I learned that lesson. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I finished X-Men, the cartoon.
Ooh, pray tell.
And I enjoyed it. I was on the edge of my seat. I'll watch season 2. Hand up. That was pretty good. I give that like a 3.5.
Now, I've never seen any of the X-Men cartoons. Can I watch this and be entertained, or do I have to know like everything? Do I have to know the theme song by heart with all the words and everything?
Well, I'll sing it for you right now. I mean, I think it'd be fine. Like, I don't think you could go back and watch the 90s X-Men. I don't think you'd like it as an adult.
Sure.
But I feel like you could watch this. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
I'll give it a couple
few
episodes.
I'd say I wasn't super into the first 2, but then it hooks you. I mean, if you like comics, it's not like you never heard of Cable or Jean Grey. Like, you've seen the movies. I think it's good enough here. I watched that one movie you told me to watch. You remember that film, Love something? And
the one I love?
Yeah, that one.
What'd you think of it?
I liked it, actually. I thought it was pretty good.
Love it? It was interesting, right?
I thought it was funny because you gave me a plot. Like, you're like, not going to spoil it, but these people, they go here, they do this. And I say to my wife, hey, my podcast partner Steve here, he recommends this movie. Pop on the trailer, and the trailer's like, we can't tell you anything or else it's going to ruin the movie. And I'm like, well, there's like something here, but we can't say what it is. And I'm like, well, I know what that is. I know exactly what that is. Someone's ruined the movie for me.
Well, it's been out for 10 years, so. But, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, I guess. I
enjoyed it. And also, kind of screw you. It reminded me exactly of Coherence, which you were like, nah, it's not really like that. And I watched it. And I'm pretty sure my wife, she was like, this is just like that other movie we saw. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought here.
Well, maybe I don't remember Coherence enough.
I think I'd give that like a 3.5, maybe 4 if you squeeze me tight enough, you know. Well, that's pretty good.
Very good.
I seen a show called Something with 8. It was one of them Koreans. It was on Netflix. It's 8 days, 8 game, or Infinity
Hold on,
Days.
let me Google Korean 8 movie.
8, 9, but it's kind of like a Squid Game type thing. It starts off real interesting. Basically, the premise is you got this group of 8 people, and it's kind of like a platform. You ever see that film?
Sure.
You got like the levels, and you kind of got the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a game show, and it's like the longer they stay in here, they get more money. So some people want to stay, some people want to leave. You know, it gets a little crazy. But it starts off real interesting. We're kind of blazing through them, but then it kind of, at the end, it just kind of falls off a little. So I think I'd probably give that like a 3, maybe a 3.5. It's an interesting premise, but it kind of just doesn't end great.
It loses its way, yeah. I'll give it a watch.
But yeah, something with an 8 with a Netflix.
Is it called The 8 Show?
Yes, that's the one. The 8 Show.
Interesting.
Oh, and then one more for you, Steve. Civil War. I ain't talking Captain America.
Oh, you're talking Kirsten Dunst.
I'm talking Kirsten Dunst. You seen this? You heard this?
Nah, I've heard of it. I just never have seen it.
It wasn't that good, I'll be honest. I wasn't, I was fairly bored. I'd say there's like one scene where it's like, okay.
Is that the one with Jesse Plemons?
Yeah.
There it is. I know he'd be a good creep in there.
Yeah, honestly, it was kind of, I wasn't into it. I'd give that like a 2.5.
Fair enough.
It was just kind of boring to me, if I'm being honest. And I wanted to follow up something with you, Steve. So I've given you plenty of time, but tell us about this Argyle book you read.
Well, let me, I'm definitely not typing in the chat GBT here. I haven't read it. I haven't. We're going to
talk a lot about Chat GPT in a few minutes here, but so you're saying you haven't done it, Steve?
No. I'm not one to who's been known to do their homework in the first place.
To be honest and be a man of your word. I hear you.
Fine. You know what? I'll do it next week, and if I don't,
I'm sure you won't. Yeah. All right, Steve.
Out of complete spite for you, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to forget to ask, and you're going to be waiting for me to bring it up just to throw it in my face. I'm never going to mention it again.
No, I'm going to do it just out of spite. You wait and see.
Well, Steve, what you been watching?
So our mutual friend in the boys chat, shout out to Sam, recommended a TV show called Smiling Friends. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it. HBO,
have you seen it?
I believe. I haven't.
I watched the first few episodes, and it is a sweet relief from the world because it's hilarious. Absolutely loved it. Hooked. I think each episode's only like 10, 15 minutes, so it's like you don't have to spend a whole lot of time watching it. I watched like 8 episodes right in a row. No, it's hilarious, man. I think it just is such a breath of fresh air when it comes to like adult humor and comedy, especially in animation. Because it uses the animation in a really funny way. Like, if you look up Smiling Friends, all of them look different. Like, shows like Family Guy or Rick and Morty, they all have, like, a consistent visual kind of language, you know? Everyone looks like they're all drawn by the same person. But here, there's nothing, like, it doesn't look like anything's been drawn by the same person. And that's because, like, some of the characters are different from each other, you know, like real people are. Some of those characters are, like, really cute and simple. Others are like really hyper detailed and creepy because that's the way their character is portrayed. And so they do really weird things, like those certain characters. And I don't know how to explain it without you just watching it, but like they use animation and the visual medium in like a really fun and funny, creative way. Like when you watch like The Simpsons or like Family Guy, they like have the joke and they see the joke, they tell the joke, that's the joke. But here there's like little quirks and like hilarious things that the characters do that's just like make it so much funnier. I don't know how to explain it without you watching it, but like if you watch it, you'd be like, that's funny. Even that little character, he's like, does this weird thing. Like, it's just funny, man. Like, I love it so much. It's like if SpongeBob grew up, was rude. It's kind of like that, you know?
You had me there till you mentioned SpongeBob.
Okay, well,
that was banned in my home. We don't talk about Sponge.
Well, still funny. You should watch it. I just watched some of it on Adult Swim. That's pretty much all I was watching this week. Besides the bottomless pit of despair that I subjected us to. Do you want to
get me started on this?
Do you want to get into it?
Should we just do spoil? Like,
yeah.
Let's just save everyone the time. Don't watch this movie unless you want to pull a prank on someone. Chinese torture. Can I say that word?
We're not monetized, so you can say whatever.
Asian torture, or whatever you call it, Northeast. But it's
rough. It's rough.
Yeah. Well, the plot of the film.
Air quotes plot.
You correct me if I'll be honest. I was dozing in and out. Remember how like Mad Max? I was talking. I was like, I don't even think I picked up my phone once. This one, I can't even remember a time I didn't have a phone in my hand. Just like, let me just do something else. But I'll watch it for you guys. But basically, the plot is Jennifer Lopez. She turns Shang-Chi, I believe, or am I
correct?
Okay.
You're not profiling like, there. You're right.
Shang-Chi or this Crazy Rich Asians, one of the two here. He's a robot. JLo's mom built the robot, and this all starts because she's like a 10-year-old and she's jealous that the mom spends more time with the robot, so she goes up to the robot and is like, "Hey, can you make me better?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can make you better. Let me just put this transmitter that's going to implant into your head here. It's going to hurt, so why don't you just hold on to your favorite chess piece," as you do.
As you do.
So she grabs the chess piece and apparently just like keeps that chess piece for the rest of her life because they show her like holding on to it later.
Mm-hmm.
Robot turns evil, kills the mom. Oh, tell me if you heard this in any other film. He kind of computes, runs through all the algorithm. Oh, the humans are going to destroy the planet. You know what we should do is let's snap a finger. I'm going to kill half of the population here.
Sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know.
And it's for the better of mankind.
Certainly, yeah.
You know, we're going to run the world or whatever. Make sure you don't, burn it to the ground. He gets other robots to join his side. Cuts forward 28 years later. JLo's a full-grown adult.
Great at chess, by the way.
Great at chess. And she's like, I gotta get this guy, Shang-Chi. He's mine.
His name is Harlan, by the way.
All right.
I'm just saying, that's the dumbest name for a AI, by the way. Yeah, keep calling him Shang-Chi. I don't care. But
Harlan Shepherd, huh?
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, she's like, he's mine. And then, out of nowhere, Sterling Brown, good actor. I think he won an Oscar this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
He's like the token army general guy, like, I'm gonna put an end to him. And she's like, you gotta take me with you. No one knows him more than me. And then Mark Strong, who's in it for like 5 minutes, he's like, you can't go. Sterling Brown says, actually, I'd kind of like her. And then he's like, all right, go ahead. And then she gets on the ship and they're planning to attack the alien. Like the whole plan is to capture him, take him in and look at his programming. And then they get shot at and they're all like super surprised. I'm like, you're going to a place to war. And
she even tells him, she's like, hey, Harlan's he's a tricky SOB.
Yeah.
So be prepared. And he's like, I know what I'm about. I know what I'm about.
Yeah.
And not 10 seconds later, they get attacked. And I'm like, come on, surely you jest. Because
she goes from like the most confident, like, I'm going to, you know, I got something revenge. I got revenge on this man. And the ship is literally falling to its death. And Sterling, you know, quick on his feet, he like gets her in like a robot suit so she doesn't just immediately die. And she's like, no, don't do that. I'm like,
how else will you survive?
Yeah, you're going to die. Yeah. And it's because she hates robots.
She hates AI.
And she goes so she's in a robot suit and they fall, a bunch of the people, most of them die. She falls, she's in a robot suit and it's like, I guess the technology in the future, like, it's not like a normal battery life, like a phone where it's like the more you use it, it drains battery, and the less you use it keeps. It's just like, you have 22 hours left before this thing shuts down. Doesn't matter how many nukes you do, guns, whatever, that doesn't matter. And so it's like, 22 hours, and the robots, I think the evacuation, or maybe it's where the guy is, but it's like, we can't get there fast enough. You have to fly. And she's like, no, we can't fly. They're going to shoot us from the sky. She's like, we're just going to have to walk. And the robot's like, we won't make it there if we walk. And she's like, I'm going to walk fast. So they, you know, do the slowest walk ever. They're like picking flowers. Oh, here's let's call this planty here. Let's take a nap here and make it there with plenty of time to spare. She gets captured. Sterling Brown is captured as well, and this planet, you sometimes can breathe without oxygen.
It really depends on the script.
Yeah, because she's out there, and they're like, she has 5 minutes to breathe. Then they show, like, her talking with Sterling Brown, who's been there without a suit for, like, I don't know, 24 hours. Yeah. He's doing fine, you know. She's like, hey man, what you doing here? And he's like, talk to the robot. So she spends about 10 minutes talking to him, and then they do like a 5-minute flashback, and so it's been like 20 minutes, and she's still breathing just fine, you know. She gets the robot. She ends up liking the robot. It's the friends you make along the way.
Certainly, yeah.
She fights the Shang-Chi, a.k.a. Harlan, kills the man.
The bot.
She likes the robot. Robot dies. But then turns out robot lives at the end. Did I miss anything here, Steve? Is that...
You know what? I think, that's... that's pretty much it as far as the plot goes. Chris, if I may, it was a long week. I did a lot of, I've done a lot of dishes. I swept some floors, went to the grocery store to go shopping, took care of my daughter. But this was the toughest chore that I've had to do this week, was watch through this movie. Yeah, it's just egregious is the word that comes to mind for me. I just there's so many times when they're coming up with this movie, writing this movie, going to production, where they should have asked themselves, more than slightly probing questions, but nobody did. You know what I mean? No questions like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? And it's just like, it feels like a first draft movie. Like they're like, all right, there it is. We did it. Let's put it in production. Let's go.
It's like they went on ChatGPT and they're like, give me a script for sci-fi, robot, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they write the dialogue. There's a flower here. What should we call it? Planty.
Additional text prompts. Make sure it's funny and witty.
Yeah.
And spin a wheel to see what ethnic pop star can play the main part for us. Oh, yeah. I think the best way, if you were to ask me what this movie is, I'd say it's a fake movie. It's not a real movie. It's like one of those movies where, like, in Drake and Josh theaters. It's like one of those. It's like
Tropic Thunder, the film they're trying to make.
Or
in the
even
background.
Like more recently, The Fall Guy.
Oh yeah,
It's like that, but it's a real, it's a movie. Like, people saw this, and
that's pretty.
I just could picture Josh Nichols sitting in line, being so ready for this movie. And I thought to myself, I was like, it's kind of a dumb name for this movie, is Atlas. I felt like it could have been a better name. And so I took the liberty, Chris, time out of my day to come up with titles that were more accurately captures the absurdity of this movie. So if you'll indulge me, tell me which one of these you would think be better. Binary betrayal.
Okay.
Neural nexus. Echoes of the mainframe.
Okay.
I feel like any one of those would have been
Any of
better than
those.
just Atlas. It's just, it doesn't.
I got one for you.
What?
A Robot's Purpose.
Hey, oh, that's
That's
good.
not
one.
bad.
I like that one a lot. I guess better than what I came up with. Yeah, this movie's it's more like a video game movie, if you know what I mean. Like, you
Like
know when you play a
Titanfall?
video, yeah. Well, not only there's many references to Titanfall, if you will. Have you ever played Titanfall?
I think I played parts of it.
It's a
years
fun game.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it a lot. But it's a video game movie insofar as like there's parts of it where you're like, here's your introducing your AI companion, here's your mech suit, and they even do a little tutorial on here's your weapons, press
Here's
X to
Cortana.
shoot, like
Yeah.
here's how you heal and all this stuff, and here's a cutscene. I'm like, this really is just like I'm watching somebody play a video game.
Yep,
just
and
disgusting.
they are struggling.
They're struggling. The protagonist is gross. It's just ugh.
Yep.
Yeah, I did not enjoy a second of this movie at all, even with Mark Strong and Sterling. I just had a stroke. What's his name?
Sterling Brown.
That's it. Yeah, no. So,
And
Chris,
Simu Liu.
sure,
Simu?
yeah,
Simu? Wow.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, and I'm too afraid to ask at this point. So I would like to publicly apologize. This was my idea. Last week we're like, what should we watch? And I was like, do you want to watch Garfield? And you're like, nah. So I was like, we should watch this one. And it's one of those where it's so bad it's not even like fun bad. you know?
Yeah, it's not. In fact, I'm a positive guy, and I wrote. Should I just say my pros?
You have
and
some?
I was really trying to force it. So
All
here
right.
are my pros. Normally, I like to end on a high note, but let's just. This will take
Just do
30
it, yeah.
seconds here. All right, pros. It's got a good cast.
Sure.
All
right.
The 4 we said, or whatever.
Yeah.
Except Mark Strong's in it for 5 minutes. Sterling Brown's in it for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Simon Liu is in it for 10 minutes, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And you got JLo. Effects were fine. You know.
Yeah.
Do you know what the budget for this is?
I shudder to think if it's anything more than 100.
It's 100.
Okay, good.
Which
Yeah.
it obviously got negative reviews, if you couldn't guess. It was successful on Netflix, reaching the platform's top 10 lists in 93 countries. How do they determine it? Like a gross
I was gonna say
for a Netflix movie? Like, does
Yeah.
Netflix have like a certain view count in mind? Where they're like, that was worth $100 million.
Yeah, I don't know. They're pretty. They keep things pretty close in terms of viewership and crap like that. But you can't tell. You can't sit there and tell me that movies like this aren't front for money laundering. It's the only way. It's the only way. It makes sense.
You know, the sad thing is I'm sure more people have seen this movie than Furiosa. Maybe even twice as many. And it's a sham. It's disgrace. Publicly humiliated.
I got nothing. I guess what you said, I'll agree. CG is good. Cast is all right. Half the cast is good. So that's all I got.
I had a pro as a cool little whip thing, I guess. It looked a little weird with the sword coming out of his hand, you know?
Can I speak on that real quick?
Yes.
That part made me, I don't know why it made me just viscerally uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Because
no,
if you can imagine, hold your hand up and you're doing the Spock
Yeah.
sign. And instead of like a sword coming out of the wrist, it comes out of the crevice in
Yeah.
between the Spock sign. And I was like, ugh, why'd you do it like that? Like,
I felt the same way. If you had to take 5 minutes of the movie and force me to watch it, it would be the fight scene between Shang-Chi and the robot,
sure.
I guess. But this is me really stretching here.
Yeah.
You got any other pros, or should we just shift to the cons?
Yeah, no, I got nothing else in
Yeah,
terms
I
of
would
praise for this
say-
one.
I'm not really a huge sci-fi guy in general. Like, I get behind a Dune. I enjoy Star Wars, but I've never really been into like a Star Trek per se.
Mhm.
But I'm not super into the sci-fi, so it's an uphill battle for me starting with that.
Yeah.
The first 4 notes I had: boring, don't care, sci-fi, JLo's character is super annoying. She's like begging to go to this other planet. 5 minutes later, she's like, I don't want to be here. Why are you making me do this? And I'm like, you were the one that forced yourself into
this.
it.
Yeah.
What percentage of JLo on screen do you think is her just in the same place with a green screen behind her? Because it's got to be 85%.
85%.
Because she's literally just in a suit the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she probably could have done this from home, teleworked, probably most of this movie, because it's just her in a suit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She tries getting very emotional every 5 minutes. It seems like,
Yeah.
But I was staring the whole time. I'm like, she seems so upset, but she never cries. And she does this the whole movie, and then at the very end, because I kept telling my wife, she had like one little tear at the very end.
It was a CG tear, was
really forced. And and it's just like, why are you doing this? Like,
it's almost like pop stars don't make great actors.
I guess.
Stick to your lane.
It just seems like a weird cast to have her star in it. She's like fine as like a rom-com, wedding planner, or whatever, but
it doesn't work for the action
it's like,
sci-fi.
let's get Kate Hudson to star in this sci-fi. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. Very
It's like
much
having Giancarlo Despacito to be a good guy. It just don't make no sense.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of sci-fi as well, for a couple reasons, and this movie really shed some light on it. Is they have all this future technology. She wakes up and she's got 4 screens across her room, and AI, make me a cup of coffee, blah, 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 making chess set with holograms. And what movies perceive as good technology, I'm like, would that actually make your life better? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm like, I don't know if it would. I don't know if a clear screen as a computer screen would be better than what I have now, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in the mech suit. She's in the mech suit, right? And there's like a lot of room for her to like move around and like walk and everything. And I'm like, why would you design it that way? Because then the pilot's going to get tired. Why not just have a joystick? We already have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
over-engineered. Give
over-engineered.
a nice recliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she has to like stand.
Yeah.
And then when she has to like punch and such, like she's real steel, Hugh Jackman, you know?
Yeah. And then when the robot has 4 arms, I'm like, how is that even, what does that look like?
Yeah, I thought Sterling Brown hopped in with her, and they're like, because she was like, you ready to fight? And I thought he just came in and it gave him a couple arms. But I will say, I laughed at the scene where she's in the mech and she's leaving, and you see Sterling Brown in the background, and you can't hear what he's saying, but you just see his mouth, and he just mouths like, run. And I don't know why, even my wife laughed too. Just like, that just seems so silly to me. But
that wasn't a great choice, yeah.
Run.
It was just not good at all.
I would say confidently, this is the worst movie I've seen this year.
Oh, yeah. No,
this is worse than Rebel Moon, if you ask me.
For sure, Z's. I don't think there's much redeeming qualities here. Can you imagine if this got a theatrical release? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's a front for money laundering, because like,
yeah.
Like no one would see this and they can't claim it as a success because like nobody came to the theaters. At least Furiosa had the balls to be put in theaters. This one,
that's true.
Gross. Chris, you mentioned a little bit about the reviews. It's not doing so hot, say on Rotten Tomatoes. I was curious to see other people's view on this movie, so I looked at Letterboxd and I saw some. But what more intrigued me, what I want to focus on, is the Google reviews. Guess what average score this has on Google?
Is it out of 5 or what?
Mm-hmm. Out of 5 stars.
I'm going to say half star, man. It's got 1 star.
It's got an average of 3.5 stars.
Ooh,
right? That was my reaction.
Those, they got some of them Indian telemarketers working for them or something.
So I did some digging. I read these reviews. So if you'll indulge me, I got a couple. This isn't part of the unhinged review. This is part of the conspiracy that I'm going to wave the tapestry, if you will. This one is 5 stars from Sue Lee Annie M. It says, I look forward to the day when AI will make me a good cup of coffee. That's what we mostly think of, what AI can do for us. This movie goes a step further with Will Smith's AI robot and explores how badly AI can turn against humanity should we not have contingencies well in advance as we hand over more and more tasks to AI. Stellar performance from all actors. It does evoke some emotional moments of humor, heartfelt moments, and the like. All in all, the cast delivers one. It's supposed to say one hell of a performance, but it says one like heel, HE''LL, and keep you awake throughout. There's always the usual critics. Learn to pay no attention to them, as by doing so, you might miss an actually good movie like this one. So I kept looking, and I found this one by Ciali Ann M. Says, I look forward to the day when AI will make me a good cup of coffee. That's mostly what we think of, that AI can do for us. This movie goes a step further than Will Smith's I, Robot and explores how badly... Of course, it's the same review.
Yeah, I see a trend here.
These hucksters and charlatans, they've used
They've
AI.
Infiltrated
Because I guarantee 33%, it says 33 people found this helpful on that first review. 21 people found the other one helpful. How meta of a world we live in that we're using bots to prop up a bot-made movie.
Well, going back to this movie written by AI,
yeah,
it's like there's there's a part, I don't know if I mentioned in my summary, but it's like JLo talking to the AI. He's like, does AI have a soul? And they're like, yeah, I believe it. AI, just comparing, we have faith that blah, blah, blah. Do you remember the scene where they meet, I think it was Sterling Brown's robot, and it's like, she calls it, and it's like, it's she, her.
She, her.
And I'm like, that seems like something a robot would write. You know what I mean?
Just a horrid piece of work. But
yeah, it's don't watch it. I think I'm giving that a 1.5. You could talk me down to a 1. You could probably talk me down to a 0.5, honestly.
What's the 0.5 for?
I don't know if I don't think I've gone below a 1.5, so.
I think this one might be the one.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I'd probably give it 1 star just for the CGI artists. You do a good job, and I love me some Mark Strong. So there you go. Yep. But with that being said, Chris, do you got anything else?
No. Oh, let's hear it, buddy.
I got some unhinged reviews for you here. 2 stars from Matt Lynch. It says, BetterHelp, the movie. Do you know what BetterHelp is?
The set therapist. Find a therapist now, blah, blah. Soon we'll be sponsored, and we'll be telling you guys to go to BetterHelp now and get a therapist at a quick ring.
Yeah. This one's 2 stars from Joe Cole. It says, I always knew JLo would lead humanity through the AI era. And then my favorite one here, Chris Payne. It's a bit long, but just stay with me here. 1 star. The cat relieved herself in the driver's seat of my car before vomiting on the floor and casually wandering off to some neighborhood party. The mess was undiscovered for 3 days in a temperature over 35 degrees Celsius. When we finally went into the car, the stench of the concentrated cat deposits was so instantly overwhelming that tears instantly exploded from our eyes, and it took 30 seconds of dry heaving before we could get one more breath in the shallow gasps. I can still taste the aroma and are now exploring insurance clauses to see if it's possible to write the car off rather than enter it into a wheeled dumpster. Yet the pungent-facing, slapped, and ammonia-like gas attack we experienced was still more palatable than the stench of Atlas movie 2024. The taste still haunts us. That's
I agree with that. I thought you were gonna say, I love AI. Get me a cup of coffee.
Yeah, no, it's just gross. Just a shallow, disgusting movie. If you make any more of these, Netflix, come on now. Ugh. By far the worst movie I've seen this year.
Well, is that your last unhinged review, Steve?
It is, yeah.
Well, I got a little surprise for you.
Ooh, I love surprises.
So remember last week, you did a little trick in reviews for the director's films?
Surely.
Do you know who this film was directed by?
I don't actually.
Brad Payton.
Who the gypsy is that?
He directed hit films such as Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore, Journey to the Mysterious Island, San Andreas, Incarnate, Rampage, and Atlas.
Well, with a resume like that, I mean, oof.
I went on Letterboxd and I found some reviews of his different films, and I figured since I did so bad last week, I want to quiz you and see if you could guess his movie here.
All right, fair enough. I'm gonna get some egg all over my face because I suck at this, but okay.
If I say blank, that's the movie title. I'm just not going to say the movie title. Make it a little challenging. At one point in blank, in which the largest earthquake in recorded history slices and shakes its way through California, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson parachutes into the middle of San Francisco baseball stadium with his estranged wife, Emma, clinging to his bulging midsection. Quote, "It's been a while since we've been to second base," he tells her as they land safely on the field, sharing a chuckle after an afternoon spent watching several thousand people be swallowed into the earth. The disaster movie is back.
Oh, man. Well, I feel like that's San Andreas. But
hey, good job.
That's funny. What a well-written review. I like that a lot.
Yeah. A masterpiece. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson sucker punched a giant lizard in the face in this movie, and that wasn't even the best thing that happened.
Is it Rampage?
Incorrect.
Really?
Journey to the Mystery Island.
You're telling me the rock stars in a movie with not one, or what, another giant lizard?
Yes, sir.
Well, how impressive.
It can be misleading to call a movie critic-proof, when this critic humbly concedes that blank is critic-proof. It's not because The Rock could open a movie with a Rotten Tomatoes score of negative 12% and still cook up a small fortune. No, blank is only critic-proof because it's one of the few studio films in recent history that's too hollow to support any critical thought. Trying to say anything of substance about this standard issue spectacle is like mounting a flat screen TV on a shower curtain.
Well.
What could it be out of these films?
Is it Rampage?
It is Rampage! Hey, 2 for 3.
Nice.
Dwayne Johnson really does play the same effing character in every movie.
He does. That's why I don't like him. I'm gonna say San Andreas.
Rampage.
Oof.
Finally, a film better than Citizen Kane.
I feel like that's an anti-review, a little jokester we got on our hands, so I'm inclined to think that that's Cats and Dogs.
Rampage.
Oh, Rampage again?
I keep forgetting to read the names. That one was from Ghost Smut.
Well, that was a fun name.
This one is a half-star from K. Mockler. The most anticipated sequel since The Godfather Part 2. That's
Journey 2, isn't it?
Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Eeyore.
Oh, man.
From Nick Atkinson. Logically, the film makes no sense. The acting is pretty much awful, the writing is terrible, but The Rock makes his pecs dance, so here's 2.5 stars.
Now, the first half, it could have been really any of his movies, but we narrowed it down with The Rock, and he dances with his pecs. I'm gonna go Rampage.
Journey 2.
Gosh.
You don't remember that iconic scene where they throw cherries or something off his pecs?
Oh.
And I think that movie was in 3D. I remember seeing that in theaters, and those pecs, those cherries just flew at you.
Sure.
He popped my cherry.
Whoa!
At this point, I think it's time to acknowledge that these are not films where Dwayne Johnson plays a character. These are documentaries of his daily life.
Well, and it doesn't show him pissing in any jars in any of the movies, so...
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen Journey in a while. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that.
Is it San Andreas?
It is!
Hey!
That was 2 stars by Manuel Leo. This is 2 stars by Ellie C. I could see The Rock's nipples the entire time.
Well, it can't be San Andreas because he's got a big coat on. At least I saw it in the trailer. He also wears a jacket on Rampage, so I'm inclined to think it's Journey 2 with those dancing movies. The Journey 2?
Correct!
Yes, there it is.
There you go.
There it is.
This one's half star by Bryce Resevier. Could have used a few more Silence of the Lambs references for my inner child.
Well, Silence of the Lambs. I don't remember any references like that in Rampage or Atlas, so I'm leaning towards Cats and Dogs. It's a Cats and Dogs.
You are correct.
There it
Cats
is.
and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
Mm.
This one's 5 stars by Thomas. This is what Martin Scorsese meant by true cinema.
It's tough because obviously an anti-joke review, but it could be Revenge of Kitty Galore. It also could be Rampage or Atlas. Any one of those are just dog-awful movies. I'm going to go with Atlas because it's the worst of those, I think.
Incorrect. Cats and Dogs.
Grown.
Half star by Chacon.
Hmm.
Realized way too late I've seen this 5 years ago. In fact, realized it the very moment logging it in again. How can a film about a giant albino ape, a flying wolf, and a mega alligator be that irrelevant that it disappears out of my memory completely?
Oh, well, it's got to be Cats and Dogs. Just kidding, it's Rampage.
I thought I got you there. Yep.
But I agree
Rampage.
with that. I think you and I saw that in the theater, did we not?
I think we did. I think
And
that must have been the movie pass day.
I couldn't remember a single thing that happened in that movie.
Yeah, I just remember Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
He's in it?
He was in it.
I
guess I only remember that because I've read a bunch of reviews that mentioned him.
Sure.
I got them all. That's
got
it.
them all? Very good. What
Good
was my
job,
score? What did I
bad
get?
job. I
Got at least
have
a
no
50%,
idea.
right?
You did better than me, that's for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't take any from Atlas because I didn't want to spoil. I assumed you were going to read some from there, and I wanted that shock right on the pod.
They were just a lot of the same kind of Netflix, please stop, written by ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those kind of reviews. Nothing really stood out. So
I hear you there.
Yeah. Here's one. Sorry, real quick. 1 star says must be torture for Ben Affleck having to support JLo's movies.
Well, I don't think he's gonna have to support for long, from what I hear.
Yeah. Anyway,
maybe this is what finally was the straw that broke his back. Here, he's just like, what?
I can't be associated with someone who's in this caliber of movie.
It's like that. I think you should leave. I'm gonna stay with you.
Stay with the kids, but I will not respect you, and I'll teach them not to. Oh, that's great.
You make twice as much money as them.
That's a fantastic show. Maybe we should watch that again.
Yeah, it's like the dad of the kid that loses the airbud,
I know exactly
I will not
which
respect
one you're talking
you. As soon as you turn 18, you're out of the house.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, that's all I got, Christopher. And if you're still listening around, thanks for listening. PSA, just don't watch this movie. Listen to this instead. Or you can literally watch anything else. Oh, if you want to watch a sci-fi movie that has like artificial intelligence, the dangers of all that, go watch Ex Machina. That one came to mind. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I saw it a few months back. It's pretty decent.
It's decent. Infinitely better than this.
Yeah, definitely better than this.
Yeah.
If we want to watch AI, watch iRobot.
Or AI.
Or AI.
Haley Joel Osment.
That movie. I wasn't a huge fan, if you ask me.
Sure. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us and do all that jazz and be nice to your sister because she's probably having a rough day. Just do that.
Yeah, probably is. And just one more AI suggest if I can. The 2001 Disney Channel original film Smart
House. There it is. Yeah, I'd watch that one infinitely more than this one.
I would too, definitely. But yeah, thanks for listening. Let us know what we should watch next. Give us a thumbs up or a like or something, because what we did here, it's borderline unsafe, what we had to endure these 2 hours.
We go through the trenches for you guys.
I feel rotten. That's how I feel. It's,
I understand. I got you.
It's been a rough week here, so but thanks for listening, and you guys have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Popcorn.
This is the
Popcorn.
Popcorn.